This question is asked in GATE 2008. It is related to the concept that we discussed earlier in the previous video. So whenever there are stalls because of the branching statements, instead of wasting those statements, we can fill them with some other instructions so that the pipeline will be utilized better. So these instructions should be such that they should not change the meaning, or they should not affect the program even when you move them around. For example, if instruction number 100 is a branch instruction, you can move any instruction which is before this 100 into that slot. Okay, so let's see this question, you will understand it better. See this question is asked in GATE 2008. The following code is run on a pipeline processor with one delay slot. So which means when they are trying to run this particular code, it is giving them one delay slot. Then they are saying which of the instructions I1, I2, I3, I4, 4 instructions are there. After these 4 instructions we have a branch instruction. Now they are saying which of the instruction I1, I2, I3 or I4 can legitimately occupy the delay slot without any other program modification. Which means whatever delay you are going to face after this branch instruction, if you have to if you don't want the delay to happen, you have to find at least one instruction which is before this instruction and try to move it after this, so that that particular instruction will occupy this slot, but then the meaning of the program should not change. That is the one you should keep in mind. Now let's see which instruction can be moved. If you try to move I1 here, from here if you try to move I1, what happens is, this is an add instruction, R7 and R8 are added and then they are stored in R2. Now if you try to move this particular instruction here, it means that the actual value of R2 will only be available at this point, but then the value of R2 is needed here. So whatever the value of R2 you are computing here has to be available by this point I3, and since you are moving this instruction from here to here, you will not be able to get the right value. So if you move this instruction, the program meaning will change, isn't it? Because obviously you can see that there is a dependency. Okay, the dependencies we shall see later. For now you can think that the meaning is going to change. And the next one is here, if you try to move I2 from here to here, what happens is the R4 is computed here, and if you try to move it here, the value of R4, actual value of R4 which is needed at this point, will not be available when you are executing this. Therefore, since there is a dependency, you cannot move this. You cannot move this because there is a dependency here, and you cannot move this to here because there is a dependency here. So I1 and I2 they should not be moved. And similarly I3, if you try to move it, you cannot move it. The reason is R1 value is computed in I3 and R1 value is needed here, so which means there is dependency, so you cannot move it also. So you cannot move I1, I2, I3. So only instruction remaining is I4. You can go with that, but then if you see it, it is logical to move it here. The reason is there is the meaning of the program doesn't change when you just shift it here. See, this branch instruction is depending on the value of R1 which is already computed here, so you are just using it here. Storing can happen even after that. Storing can happen here or storing can happen here. It doesn't affect anything. Therefore, this is the only instruction which is feasible to be moved around. So therefore I am just moving it here. Okay. So what is the answer? I4. So in general you should examine like that. If you try to move an instruction, is it going to affect anything else, or are there any instructions which are depending on the value computed by that particular instruction? Then you should not move it. In this case, no instruction is depending. In fact, nothing is being computed here. It is load and store, right? In general, the instructions which are most readily available. See, I am not saying that these are the only instructions, but the instructions which are most readily available to be moved around are load and store. Okay, so in case if you have any other instruction, let us say you have any other instruction like this, assume that we have R10 or R10 plus R11, something like this. If you have instruction anywhere here, and since no instruction here, they are not, no, see, if you have this instruction here above I1, even this instruction can be moved here, because none of the instructions I1, I2, I3 are actually depending on the value being computed, which is R10, and none of them are actually changing the value of R10 or R11. Therefore you can move around, right? So when can you not move around any instruction is in case if a value is being computed, and if the instructions following that and the instructions between this particular instruction and the branch instruction, which means instructions present here, if they use this particular value, then you cannot delay its execution, right? Or if you are trying to read some registers, and instructions present here, if they try to modify this, then you cannot move it. Otherwise you can just move them around. Got it? Okay.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So, first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and IITs, universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%, but all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177 and IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities. But whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.